Premier Oil plc is a leading FTSE 250 independent exploration and production company. The group is organised into 6 business units: UK, Norway, Vietnam, Indonesia, Pakistan and the Falkland Islands, most of which have exploration, development and production assets, with the exploration team reporting directly to a central exploration function. Premier's strategy is to grow shareholder value through investment in high-quality projects within a disciplined financial framework. Today, the group encompasses over 800 employees and produces around 60 kbo EPD from a reserve and resource base of around 800 mmboe. Premier seeks to maintain the highest standards of corporate responsibility. Premier Oil in Indonesia. In 1996, through its acquisition of Sumatra Gulf Oil, Premier acquired its first operated acreage in Indonesia, Natuna Sea Block A, which included the Anoa oil field and stranded gas resources. In 1999, Premier signed a gas contract, GSA-1, with Sembcorp, making the commercialization of the stranded gas cap at Anoa possible. Premier subsequently developed the Natuna Sea gas project. Gas deliveries from the Anoa field commenced in 2001 and are expected to continue under a life-of-field contract until 2029. The main Anoa complex comprises 2 steel jacket platforms connected by a bridge, an unmanned wellhead platform known as West Lobe, and some subsea wells are also connected to the main Anoa complex. After primary processing on the platform, crude oil and fuel gas are transported by separate subsea pipelines to the Floating Production Storage and Offloading, or FPSO, vessel, Anoa Natuna, which is located 1 nautical mile away. Meanwhile, gas from Natuna Sea Block A is delivered to market via a 657-kilometre West Natuna Transportation System, WNTS, gas pipeline. Since 1996, Premier has made several discoveries on Natuna Sea Block A, including a discovery in 2012 in the deeper Lama play, and gas reserves and resources on the block has increased to over 2 TCF. Gajah Baru, a gas field on Natuna Sea Block A, which Premier discovered in 2000, was brought on stream in 2011. Under GSA 2, 3 and 4, Gajah Baru is contracted to ship gas into the domestic market and into Singapore. Development work on the Pelican and Naga gas fields on Natuna Sea Block A is targeting first gas in the second half of 2014. The Pelican and Naga fields, which will be dedicated to maintaining the gas profiles of GSA-1 and GSA-2 respectively, will be tied into the Gajah Baru central processing platform for export via the WNTS. Premier is also operator of the Tuna PSC with a 65% equity interest. The Tuna PSC, which covers 4,992 square kilometers, was assigned to Premier in March 2007. Premier also has 2 non-operated interests in Indonesia. Specifically, Premier has an 18.75% non-operated interest in the Kakap producing gas field. Premier also has a non-operated 41.67% equity stake in Block A, Aceh, an onshore gas development in Indonesia. While enhancing its business and exploration strategies, Premier embraces a number of core values to complement and support these plans and to instill a company culture. These values are creativity, which is the heart of the company's business, tenacity, dynamism, professionalism, and respect. They are combined to establish the foundation of the company. Premier is committed to operating responsibly and will never knowingly compromise on health, safety and environmental standards. The company's goals are to ensure the safety of everyone involved with its operations and to protect the environment. Premier supports social investment that contributes to the sustainable development goals of the communities and countries in which it operates. These projects are focused on economic agriculture, education, social infrastructure and environment. Indonesia remains to form a critical part of Premier's portfolio. Today it accounts for over 20% of the company's production and over 30% of the company's global reserves. Premier continue to invest in the country to bring on stream the next phase of its projects on Natuna Sea Block A and to actively pursue exploration with Kuda Laut on Tuna Block and Ratu Gajah on Natuna Sea Block A. Premier Oil continuously renews its commitment in providing added values to the stakeholders, the Indonesian government, and the surrounding communities in which it operates.